Left you at the bevel. I said I was going to drill some holes right through the soft metal. Well, the metal didn't turn out to be quite as soft as I thought. You see all the shines off because I actually had to reheat this thing. I chewed through about 3 drill bits, but so I had to reheat it up, anneal it, and then get the holes drilled. So these holes are for pins. This big one here is going to be a decorative pin. These two are just going to be for the top, and then these two are going to be for a brass bolster. Today I'm going to be heat treating the metal. Since I took it off, it's soft, and I got to heat it up. So here's my forge over here. My forge is a school bus brake drum, and then a furnace for a motor. Just some laundry pipe underneath.
Also, it's made out. He used duct tape to combine those stuff.
The 12-year-old commentator. Yeah, the duct tape's there because I didn't have any lighter fluid last time for the charcoal, and so I put some gas on, and then I missed the match that I threw, so the gas had time to seep down into the laundry pipe, and then when I finally lit it, it exploded. It was pretty exciting for everyone involved. But I'll try to get the match on right, because I still don't have any lighter fluid. I'm going to have to use gas again, which isn't good. But I'm going to get that fired up, and we're going to heat treat this thing for you today. So here's just the charcoal going without the air. You'll see quite a bit of difference once we turn the air on. It's my oh, that's sexy, isn't it? That charcoal will be gray in probably a minute or two. Start throwing my stuffs in. I hardly ever just whip up a batch of charcoal for one knife because it's kind of a waste. I'm going to be heat treating this one as well. It's a railroad spike knife I made. Just a twisted handle, and hammered that out on my anvil here. I might do another series if these are any good, how to make a railroad spike knife, but I'm going to throw that one in and heat treat it today too. So here we have our blade. I don't know if you can tell from the camera, but it's bright kind of cherry orange. It's almost ready to go. And I got over here real strong ceramic magnet just sitting there on my anvil. I'm going to use that to test if it's lost its magnetism. When steel gets hot enough, it loses its magnetism, and you know it's good to go. And then my bucket of dirty oil, I'm just going to quench it in there. Just about ready. I'll turn my camera over to my assistant, and we'll get this quenched.
Well, here's the fire. Now you can see right now that. What? Say what?
What?
Okay, so right now you should let it cool down, Bubba.
I can't. All right. See, it's non-magnetic. It's not sticking.
Fire! He does that whenever he needs to cool down a knife. See how the fire? Look. Bubba, why don't you just drop it in?
What's that?
Why don't you just drop it in?
You got to keep it moving, because what happens is the hot metal will make like a vapor barrier on the outside of the metal, and it won't cool off as quickly as it needs to. So you need to keep hold of it. You need to keep moving it back and forth just to break that vapor barrier.
Okay.
Okay, you don't really need to worry about quenching the handle. The handle doesn't need to be hard. You know, in fact, hardness imparts brittleness, so the handle almost better not being hard. So get the blade, any cutting surfaces. I try to get the middle of the knife too, just so it doesn't bend, because hardened steel won't bend. It'll break before it bends, but soft steel will. So I get to the middle of the knife and any cutting surfaces, and that's what I'm worried about. Like I said, not worried about the handle. Another thing you need to worry about is if you're staying here long enough that your handle isn't red hot anymore, because if you dunk it in here until your blade's cool, but then leave your handle red hot, the heat will travel down the handle, actually reheat the blade, and if it gets up over 800 degrees like we talked about earlier, it's going to be soft again.
Wow.
I'm going to grab that other knife now, the railroad spike knife, and clinch it as well. It's hard to even explain how freaking hot that fire is.
It's red.
Yep. It's going to be red.
Now, didn't you notice that as soon as you put it in, there's a flame? That's actually
Yeah, and
quite good.
this metal is boiling. I mean, that's how hot the metal is. It can flash boil a whole gallon of motor oil.
Wow. Now the mix, there. I once watched Mythbusters. They say where there's smoke, there's fire. That's not always true. Just like now. Just now, and tires. Hey, Bubba, what about the other knife?
Well, the other knives I'm gonna pound on now, but that's a different series. So hit stop now. So when I left you last, we just pulled that knife out of the oil, and it does a number on the blade. Remember how shiny and pretty it was? It turned into, here's the handle. That's what the whole thing looked like. So you have to get back on the sander and descale it. But when you're descaling it and taking all that junk off, you got to be careful that you don't let your blade get too hot, because you know the sander causes friction. If it gets too hot, it'll anneal the blade again, and you'll end up nice and soft. But that's what it looks like after you get done descaling it. A little work on the buffer to make it shiny. Got a knife again. But it about breaks your heart when you have it pretty and then you throw it in that fire. It gets hot and black, and then you stick it in that oil and it just gets nasty. But it all comes out in the end. But all I got left to do with this knife, I'm going to put some brass bolsters right here. And I got some nice wood I'm going to put here. And I'll come back with that series. You see, I didn't worry too much about the handle because that's going to be covered with wood. I did slick up the side there because that'll be visible. But the black right here, not too worried about. Get all the oil and stuff off so the epoxy's got some stuff to stick to. And actually, I even take a grinder sometimes and nick this up real good. Give the epoxy more stuff to bite to. But it'll have a pin here, 2 more pins here, and then these 2 holes are for the bolster. I've acquired some brass that I'll make that bolster with, but that'll be another series.